You put in a simple prompt like, write to me as if it's a Harvard PhD paper on the importance of the business cycle and how it plays into game theory. So the exponential age is basically something I started writing about maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, where I started saying, listen, I think there's going to be this nexus of technologies that all hit adoption effect at the same time. And unlike normal kind of Metcalfe's law, which tends to be exponential, this is going to be Reed's law, which is an exponential squared, because of all of these things are building on top of each other. You know, the internet already exists. And what you're going to get is robotics, AI, a change in what we do with energy. We're going to see genetic sciences, space travel. All these things are all going to happen. And even I did not think that this was going to happen at the speed of which we're seeing it.
Wow.
So when we look at what's just happened in politics, the technologists in a coup have taken over the White House. So we have Elon Musk, David Sachs, everybody from Vivek to JD Vance to Mark Andreessen, and they're all part of this administration, either in the front door, through the back door, right? So we're about to hyper accelerate here. And what we're seeing with AI is, again, I did not believe this. Last year, beginning of the year, that when you measure IQ, which is not a perfect way of looking at it, but the IQ of the OpenAI model at the time was 90. It finished the year at 157. Okay, so we are now very high.
Yeah.
So if we are assuming we will double pretty much every year, by next year, it will be more intelligent than any human who's ever lived. Then after that, you're starting to get to more intelligent than all humans added together, which is where you start to get to with ASI.
Yeah.
So this is where we're starting to see there's a model that got released by, and you probably haven't even seen it yet, called Deep Research, that was launched by OpenAI yesterday. It's a research agent. You put in a simple prompt like, write to me as if it's a Harvard PhD paper on the importance of the business cycle and how it plays into game theory. Something like a small prompt, it will do you a 10,000 word PhD with all of its references in 20 seconds. Okay, so we're now headed into a world where knowledge is starting to become like water. It becomes free. Because this, you talked about the other model, the DeepSeek model, right? It's just making knowledge cheaper, and that flywheel is going to keep happening. So we've turned one of the scarcest things, something that you and I have made our careers from, which is our knowledge is valuable, to it's all going to zero over time. So it is a enormous disruption it's a civilization level disruption to how things work. Doesn't mean it's the end of civilization. It just means we've got a very fast, biggest change we've ever had in humanity. We will not be the apex intelligence within 2 years, 1 year. Okay, what does that mean? Well, we don't know. But I've been following this journey for a long time, and I've gone down further rabbit holes of, I also think somewhere this thing it's alive. I think it's sentient. Is it conscious or sentience? Depends how you term these things. But there is something going on here that is much larger than we yet understand. And it's even, and it's too long for this conversation, it's a conversation for you and I for a glass of wine.
Wow.
That we are starting to move towards that this is part of universal consciousness, which is something that we have seen religion talk about, that Hindu Vedas through to all religions, through to everybody with who have been the forefront of psychedelics, through to physics, trying to figure out, okay, something much bigger is happening. So what a time to be alive.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm looking at. We're going to go to Mars. And Elon is not talking about taking humans to Mars. He's talking about taking consciousness to Mars.
Yeah.
These are, this is purposefully worded. Yeah. We are going to change human longevity to what we don't know. We're going to be able to cure diseases at scale of which have evaded us for all of humanity. And we're going to replace physical labor with robots. in infinite numbers. So we're going to have infinite human knowledge, but better, infinite human labor, but better. That leads to weird economic outcomes, because if you think of GDP growth equaling population growth plus productivity growth plus debt growth really finished, apart from servicing of debts, it really finished back in 2008. And we've been stuck with an aging population slowing global growth. Well, this is all about to decouple in ways that we don't understand. What does infinite growth of humans mean in GDP numbers? Who does it accrue to? What happens, right? I don't know. All I know is we've probably got about 5 years before things get really weird. And so I'm focused on this period more than anything, about what it means for us. What do we need to do to navigate this, whilst trying to also monitor these gigantic trends that are happening all at the same time?